Now check in with House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer. He had a big win today. The FBI Director Christopher Wray is now allowing his entire committee to view a document that includes allegations that President Biden was involved in a bribery scheme with a foreign government. We now go to Fox News correspondent Kevin Corke first. Oh, apparently we have James Comer first. Okay. Anyway, Congressman Comer, thank you. And, let's talk about specifically, you were just about to, as of today or yesterday, bring the Director Wray, into contempt of Congress. It became unnecessary because he finally gave in to your demand. Now, my understanding is that this particular source that you cited in your original letter, along with Charles Grassley, is viewed as a very credible source. The allegation seems real. They apparently have had it since 2017. It deals specifically with the country of Ukraine, and it talks about specific actions that Joe Biden might have taken in exchange for a lot of money. What specifically can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you that the FBI has had this since 2017. This particular 1023 that I was able to grant access for my entire committee today. It's dated June 30th of 2020. But what you go back through the document, and there are footnotes that reference to prior years. So they were communicating with this paid informant for years. And according to the FBI, this is one of their most highest paid, most respected, most trusted, most effective human informants. So what we learned is what the whistleblowers told Senator Grassley all along. The FBI never investigated this. But we did learn that Attorney General Barr, when he received this particular 1023 that was up for viewing today for the House Oversight Committee, he passed it along to the U.S. Attorney in Delaware, who was investigating Hunter Biden. And remember, this 1023 didn't just implicate Joe Biden, it also implicated his son. So what's interesting to me when I read the document was the fact that this was years before our work on the Oversight Committee brought out the fact that the Biden family were using multiple banks and multiple shell companies to launder money from foreign nationals. No one knew about this back in 2020. This has only become a revelation since our committee has brought it to light in the last few months. So no one knew about these shell companies, but it specifically says by their trusted human informant that the payor of these bribes bragged that the way Biden wanted the money distributed, it would be through so many banks that it would take investigators 10 years to track the money. And I can tell you, Sean, it's taken us a long time to track the money, but we are tracking the money. We're finding money from China. We found money from Romania, and we will find this money from Ukraine.
So you believe there's a total of $10 million involved in all of this, and this has been ongoing since 2017, and the FBI's had this the whole time, and they've never done a full investigation into this?
That's what it appears to be. Now, what Attorney General Barr said, he passed it along to the U.S. Attorney in Delaware. My theory, Sean, is that the U.S. Attorney in Delaware had never even really paid attention to this until the last 2 weeks. Now, according to the FBI, when I had that private briefing with Jamie Raskins, who had to feel uncomfortable sitting in there listening to all of that information that we were receiving from the FBI, considering he led an impeachment of Donald Trump for simply asking about corruption in Ukraine. The FBI is talking about all these credible accusations they have with respect to corruption in Ukraine from the Biden family. We believe that these banks will show that they were that the money was laundered through shell companies, more shell companies. So we're going to continue to try to subpoena the banks.
Congressman,
we're looking for more shell companies. We'll find it. Yes.
All right. Americans now watched Hillary Clinton with top secret classified information on her servers, but no prosecutor would prosecute. They watched, quote, obstruction by the deletion of 33,000 subpoenaed emails and the destruction of devices that might have had some of that information on them. Nobody seemed to get, upset or in any way, shape, manner, or form. Now you've got 4 separate locations, top secret classified information with Joe Biden. Okay, they raid Mar-a-Lago. They didn't raid Chappaqua. They didn't raid Delaware. They didn't raid UPenn. They didn't raid the beach house. But it's Donald Trump that has Mar-a-Lago raided, and Donald Trump that gets charged for what seems like the exact same allegations. Do you see much difference?
No. Look, Joe Biden has mishandled classified documents in a much more severe manner than Donald Trump ever mishandled classified documents. What we've learned about this form 1023, again, the FBI never investigated it, but this is a pattern of the FBI not investigating anything with respect to Biden. Look at what they had with the Steele dossier, which was no credible source, compared to what they have with this 1023 on Joe Biden from their most trusted, credible source. And then, Sean, I want you to think about this. 2 things. First of all, they wouldn't even admit that this document existed until Senator Grassley and I told Christopher Wray that we had already read the document from the whistleblower. So then, once I got to view the document, it was apparent there were more documents. Then, as early as Monday, when they gave me the briefing for 90 minutes, the FBI tried to say there were no more documents. When we were negotiating last night on postponing this motion to hold them in contempt, they finally admitted there are more 1023s on Biden and bribery, and they're going to let me see those now. So we're making progress with the FBI. The FBI clearly has treated Joe Biden very differently than they're treating Donald Trump. But thankfully for the American people, the House Oversight Committee is on top of this. We're uncovering the banks. We're uncovering the shell companies. These are things that we will continue to push forward on.
Based on all these LLCs that you keep describing and the amount of money that's being shifted around here, there, and everywhere, and the number of countries that you've identified that the Biden family was doing business with, and you're right about the Ukraine issue, because Joe bragged about leveraging $1 billion, demanding a prosecutor be fired in 6 hours. Prosecutor turns out to be investigating his son and the company paying him a fortune, Burisma, the Burisma energy giant. So at the end of the day, my question to you, do you have any earthly idea how many millions of dollars we might be talking about between Hunter and Devin Archer and Joe Biden and the 9 family members that you say ultimately got payments as well, and including apparently grandkids? They must be very smart if they're getting some of the money as well.
Well, it's consistent with organized crime. You've got racketeering, you've got money laundering, you've got bribery. But I would estimate, Sean, that we've already uncovered 10 million. I would say that number could top out at 20 million plus when this is all said and done. We're going to continue to focus. We've got more banks that we're focusing in on with subpoenas. And just the last thing, Sean, think about this. According to Bill Barr and according to FBI, this 1023 being passed over to the U.S. Attorney in Delaware means that Joe Biden is currently under investigation for bribery by a U.S. attorney.
Yeah.
I know that gets lost in translation, but that's what Bill Barr and the FBI said, that document is in the hands of the U.S. attorney in Delaware.
It is interesting that the DOJ charging President Trump on this issue of classified documents, they haven't been particularly cooperative, the FBI and the DOJ, with your request, be it for suspicious activity reports or this 1023 form. They have not been particularly cooperative and forthcoming with information, and it's been like pulling teeth. We appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.